My bad, guys. How are you guys? It's always funny when I'm setting up the live. It's like sometimes you notice that they just like drop something in the YouTube studio. And I was like, what is that? And what does it mean? Because mine was checked off and I was like, oh, hell no. What does that mean? So I wasn't really sure what it was. So I was trying to figure it out before I let it go and then I regret it. You know what I mean? Because shoot, you never know around here. Like what, you just look, you got to like they used to say back, protect your neck, right? Protect your neck and that's it, right? So I had to do my due diligence before I went ahead and I left it on because I was like, I want to figure out what it actually does. I was trying to do some searches. I know you're like, well, what was it, Fran? What was? I'm not going to say because I'll tell you guys because I love sharing new now next. Um, but I until I know what it is, I can't really even tell you what it is. Let's see. Uh, girl. YouTube is just I did read an article today that they are dropping some new product. And when they say they're dropping new product, it could be different enhancements. Harry Belafonte, I think I saw that in passing. Rest in peace to the wonderful Harry Belafonte. I know he's going to be sorely missed by his family. Absolutely. He is a legend, okay? Period. Absolutely. So, yes, rest in peace to the legend, Harry Belafonte. A lot of it's sad, but on to his next assignment, right? That's basically what it is. And he did his damn thing out here. If anyone can say I'm sure he enjoyed his life very much. He was out there civil rights. He was out there in the movie industry in the 50s and the 60s. He was making music. He was with some of the most beautiful women in the world. He had an array of children. I mean, the man was blessed. So and I know he's got to be well into his 80s, probably even almost 90 years old. I'm not even gonna, I mean, I'm sure he was probably almost around the same age as my dad, and I think probably even older. So, to God be the glory. He did that thing, right? So, rest in peace to the legend, Harry Belafonte, right? Um, guys, there's a couple things. 96. You see what I'm saying? My oh God, my dad, if he would have lived this November, he would have been 95, girl. Okay. I think how old was I when my dad was born? I think he had to have been in his 40s. Um they were a little bit late bloomers. When my parents got married, my dad was 33, my mom was 25. Um I know my mom had my little sister at 42, which would have made my dad 50. Um, yeah, my dad was probably right about 40. So yeah. Yeah, girl, he was a senior and he did his damn thing. So good for him. 96 is it's never long enough because the family is going to be torn up, but at the end of the day, he is a legend, period. You know what I mean? He did his thing. Um, guys, there was some drama out here. So a couple different things, which we're not going to get deep into it now, but I feel like I'm in a better position to comment and discuss. some of the shenanigans in a couple of other sectors that you guys have asked me about. Somebody put a comment on my other channel, where I know most of you guys watch over there too, at Love Lies and Lace Fronts. If you're new over here, I have a channel. It's connected on my front page, Love Lies and Lace Fronts. Um, but Melanie King, the whole thing that's going on over there. Um, Someone asked me, did I see the pictures that MTR, he's a guy who does commentary for men, and helps men who are, I don't know, like not feeling super confident about who they are and what they bring to the table. He's kind of like basically, what was that movie with Will Smith? Was it, oh God, where he was kind of the dating coach, imaging consultant. He's basically like Kevin Samuels Jr. Okay. There's a lot of Kevin Samuels Jr.'s out here, from what I understand, and there's quite a feud going on for who is going to take the crown. So there are a lot of people out here that want to be the next, the newest, and now KS, and it's dirty out here. Okay. So there's some drama going on in that sector. Very interesting. Anyway, we covered some of that the other day on Love Lies and Lace Fronts. And um homie has been canoodling with some ladies. I don't know how deeply he's involved with some of these ladies in the sector. But yeah, we'll talk about it some tomorrow, or if you guys are interested in talking about it now, we can. But yeah, guys, two people got the axe yesterday. I don't know how many of you are aware, Tucker Carlson, on top of Don Lemon, lost his job yesterday. These two gentlemen were relieved of their responsibilities at their respective places of business. The one thing with Tucker Carlson, I want to talk about him first just because I don't have a whole lot to say. I'm not really a Fox News buff, nor really follow that news outlet much. But they were held to account. Hitch, thank you so much, January. Um, yes, MTR is somewhat of a hitch. He has created himself a little slice of the Kevin Samuels pie. And that's what they're kind of doing over there. We'll talk about it tomorrow on Love Lies and Lace Fronts, because it's dry. Those mommies are, I think they're just these, yeah, some of yeah, we'll talk about that too tomorrow. But yeah, let's see. Hey, chat. Hey, Gig. How are you, sis? I haven't seen you in a little minute. How are you doing? Um, what happened? Your account got hacked or something? What happened? Okay, so Tucker Carlson, let me talk about this really quick. Because it's very topical at this. I mean, it's a hot topic. This guy basically, so we all know. There's been a lot of talk for many years about the disinformation campaign. There's been lots of talk about fake news, all of those things, right? So in the presidential election, um, there was some banter back and forth, news stories going around, and the blaming of these voting machines, and that people were upset because they felt like the election had been stolen from under Donald Trump, right? And there's a lot more detail involved, but what happened was there was a huge defamation lawsuit that was recently settled. It was settled before it actually went to trial. I guess they were in the middle of starting the trial. And I don't know. I mean, it could be a lot of different things. The reason why they decided to not go to trial, but Fox News decided to settle. Dominion was suing for 1.6 billion, okay? Billion. They demanded the settlement amount is half of the 1.6 billion. That's just how certain, that's how much you're not going to mess with my business that they were talking about. They basically felt that they wanted Fox News to be held to account for what they asserted were lies. Not only that would hurt their business, but they felt hurt the integrity of the service that they provide. It cast a shadow on the presidential election, and what they're there to do is to facilitate the voting in a legal way, right? Fox and the voting equipment company Dominion reached a $787 million settlement in a closely watched defamation lawsuit, ending a dispute over whether the network and its parent company knowingly broadcast false and outlandish allegations in that Dominion was involved in a plot to steal the 2020 election. The settlement came before scheduled opening statements. I think that Fox News Fox News had to turn over discovery, which were internal communications, emails, text messages from phones, all kinds of stuff. And they said it was, I think I'm quoting, a treasure trove of receipts. Okay, that's my words. Okay. The receipts were plentiful. Okay. So what does that tell you if the company says, you know what, we're good. We don't have to take this to court? That tells me that there was something in there that they didn't want seen, that they were playing around or somebody was playing around, that there was information. The account was taken over and got in. Oh my goodness. Wow, Gig. I'm so sorry, but I'm glad that you got that solved. Okay, dear. Um, But yeah, that tells me $1 billion, guys. There was something in there that they were like, yeah, let's just go ahead and settle this out. And then next thing you know, homie is on the unemployment line. Okay. Now we don't have to feel sorry for Tucker Carlson because he had the number one show on television, number one of everything and everybody. Okay. I'm sure he's highly paid and very well compensated, right? So nobody has to feel sorry for him. It's about like when Matt Lauer got, fired, right? At the end of the day, homie is going to be okay. Now that's Rupert Murdoch right there. Some of the conspiracy theory is that Rupert Murdoch, his kids are um, not as conservative as he is, and potentially we're okay with this because they want to, as far as the Tucker Carlson firing, want to try to dismantle some of what has been, kind of like what people have come to know about Fox News, right? So Tucker Carlson has, been kind of the poster child for this network. And I guess they feel like after they had to write a check for $787 million, that, maybe it's time to go. I don't know if that was part of the negotiation of the deal with this company, like tell that man to keep our name out of his mouth kind of thing, or so much damage has been done, or he's such a loose cannon, we can't control him. But apparently he and his producer were ousted. Let's listen to a little bit of this. This is the settlement of the suit, and then we'll listen to whatever they had to say about Tucker's firing. And we are on the Guardian newspaper, or the Guardian, their website.
Fox and Dominion have reached an historic settlement. Fox has admitted to telling lies about Dominion that caused enormous damage to my company, our employees, and the customers that we serve. Nothing can ever make up for that. Throughout this process, we have sought accountability and believe the evidence brought to light through this case underscores the consequences of spreading lies. Sometimes
the truth matters. Lies have consequences. Over 2 years ago, a torrent of lies swept Dominion and election officials across America into an alternative universe of conspiracy theories, causing grievous harm to Dominion and the country. Today's settlement of $787,500,000 represents vindication and accountability. Lies have consequences.
You know what that tells me? They didn't want whatever would have come out in the trial, whatever would have really hurt the reputation of Fox News even more. Yeah, they didn't want that out. So I think not taking it to trial allowed them to save a little bit of face as far as who knew what and who knew what when. And when you found out who decided to not clean up the mess, who decided to not maybe be the adult in the room or the person who said, you know what? That should have never happened. We need to apologize. We need to clean it up. We need to straighten this out. We need to whatever, because there's one thing that when a lie happens, or there's one thing when a mistake happens at work. We all know this, right? Some shit happens at work, right? When do you tell your client? When do you tell your business partner? When do you tell the people that you're accountable to? And then do you just make it worse by never saying anything? So I just wonder, for that price tag that they were able to, okay, no harm, no foul. Here you go. We're going to settle for this historic number. To me, you didn't decide to even defend yourself. Then I'm just going to assume that it was indefensible, that there's evidence in there that supports that whether people were knowledgeable at the onset, there was still an opportunity to clean it up, to make, to explain, to back it out, all of those things. So at the end of the day, yeah, he probably knew it was a matter of time for him to be relieved of his duties, but it's quite possible that he may have been under the assumption that, I'm Mr. Fox News. And I guess the Rupert Murdoch's family and the powers that be, in the top of the upstairs suite, I guess, had the last laugh because Mr. Fox News was relieved of his duties. Okay. Let's hear a little bit about what they had to say, right? Tucker Carlson firing highlights, texts unearthed during the Fox Dominion trial. So host abrupt departure. And yeah, they probably were like, oh yeah, this is, what can we do? And when you when you are dragged into a lie and you're telling your version of the truth on top of what was lied to you, it's so embarrassing. It's just probably just too embarrassing at this point to be a trusted news outlet. So I think to potentially save their faces and save what they have left of a large news, empire that's valuable to a lot of people. It may not be your news channel, but at the end of the day, there are people who watch this channel, and they needed to save their face. So I definitely, that's what my assumption is that there clearly had to be something there. And like the attorney stated, the attorneys would not say that Fox admitted to lies. So Fox admitted to lies. Fox admitted that there was some wrongdoing. Clearly, um, what they found was indefensible and far too much for them to risk the future of the entire company behind one person.
And we'll be back on Monday. In the meantime, have the best weekend with the ones
I
that
guess
you love.
we didn't
We'll
know
see
he
you
would
then.
be back on
This
Monday.
just in to CNN. Tucker Carlson is out at Fox News.
The company goes on to say, we thank him for his service to the network as a host and also prior to that as a Fox News contributor.
Hey, Dior. And, keep in mind that all of that anger over the election created the situation that happened at the White House. So it's not just the lies, it was the desecration of our nation's capital, the White House. There were people who were killed on that day serving and protecting. There were people injured on that day. There are people who are still traumatized by having angry mobs of people coming for their necks, basically. Women who were threatened to be drugged. Just all kinds of awfulness, right? Not America's most shining moment. Unfortunately, as a collective, it was very unfortunate that this thing happened, right? Very scary time for a lot of people in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And a lot of, one could say that if it hadn't been for the election and people feeling like they had been short-sighted because of the messaging, that was a lie. It's what can they do about that, and I'm interested to know, will there be lawsuits against Fox News potentially for the ripple effect of, maybe even wrongful death suits? I don't even know. I'm just asking questions here. But is it possible that some of the families of the deceased at the rampage at the White House could be, would they entertain suing Fox News too? I mean, it's awful. So I don't know. Tucker is without a job today. Don't feel sorry for him. I'm sure he's okay. I'm sure he's got plenty of money and he's got lots of friends. And he will be fine. Okay. Yeah, I think that when you realize that you have someone, just think about at your workplace, think about the people at your job who feel or know on today they are untouchable. There's always a few who feel like they're just running the damn place, that their name should be outside, right? Um, I really think on yesterday, two people lost their jobs. I'm not saying who needed to lose their jobs. I guess Tucker Carlson definitely needed to lose his job. Unfortunately, he fucked up. Um, and it's too bad, so sad. You know what I mean? But as far as Don Lemon, again, another one. So yeah, Tucker Carlson, that whole thing, the lies that really did some bad things to our country. Yeah, he had to go. I mean, when you really think about it, it's not like he just got on his news report and lied. He got on there, lied, created distrust where there already has been distrust. He contaminated a process that is supposed to be pristine for us to be able to trust it, right? Um, it did not allow the rightful winner to assume their seat with dignity and that they should have after winning fair and square. Um, all of those things. So he really should be, I mean, I'm just, he knows what he's dealing with what he's dealing with. So we're just going to move on from that. Let's see, the donors for Fox News have already filed 2 lawsuits. You know what I'm saying? So Fox News is going to have to he cost them a lot of money. Not only did they lie on air, they sent text messages back and forth discussing how they knew they were lying. Well, which is why they're writing big checks. And you know what? I'm just going to if I were the wife, family member, daughter, some, and I am missing my boo because of that nonsense that broke out, that rampage, they would be seeing some papers from me too. I'd be trying to get a bit of that fortune, to try to get a little bit of compensation for that nonsense. So I'm quite sure Fox News, like if they're the ones, like if you like in a metaphor situation, if they're the matchstick, if Tucker was the match and Fox News as a whole was the strike, and they got to be held accountable. So that's what insurance is for, and the company's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're going to be okay, right? Um, all right, let's move on to Don Lemon. This is another guy who really thought that he was Mr. CNN. And, 2 different situations, but these guys have a lot in common, okay? Don Lemon was over here. Don Lemon had become quite celebrated a little bit. He'd become somewhat of a personality. And homie was even drunk on New Year's on a live stream. I mean, where have we heard that recently? Like I was talking about the YouTubers being drunk on a live stream. I mean, okay, tipsy. Girl, God only knows. I've had some drinks on live stream too. But Don Lemon was doing the most on New Year's Eve. Don Lemon has been quite outspoken. Um, Don Lemon recently has had a couple of very vigorous interviews with people that have been quite contentious and crossed the line with, I guess, what CNN would like for him to have done, and conducted himself as an anchor. So they're saying CNN and Don have parted ways. Don will forever be part of CNN family. We thank him for his contributions over the past 17 years. We wish him well, and we will be cheering him on his future endeavors. So I guess they asked him to come in, and he decided to tweet that he was getting fired. Hey, boo boo. Hey, Southside. How are you, sis? Okay, let's listen. Let's listen to a little bit. There's a better clip down below, but we'll watch this one first.
Keep it quilted means you keep it the best. Keep it quilted means comfort that feels good.
Girl, quilted northern. Okay.
Haley actually said, "What took so long?" CNN is parting ways with star anchor Don Lemon. The network made the announcement.
Not Fox News throwing shade. They come in and the lady is talking about, and what took so long? Girl, were y'all reporting on your own tea? Were y'all reporting on Tucker? You see how messy these news channels are? Sis was like, girl, that was messy. Okay, let's go back.
Moment ago, actually. And it says, quote,
Wait,
CNN
let's
and
catch the
Don
tea one more
News.
time.
Kaylee actually said, "What took so long?" CNN is parting ways with news.
Messy.
Kaylee actually said, "What took so long?" CNN is parting ways with star anchor Don Lemon. The network.
I'm just gonna say, sis to sis, I wouldn't have done that. Don't allow them to have you. I'm just gonna say, don't coon out here, sis. At the end of the day, yes, Don Lemon might be annoying, but whoever made the comment, let them roast. Don't roast at your good job, sis, because 2 people got axed on Monday. I wouldn't be over there cooning and acting silly because, sis, you could be next. So you might don't tell other people's bad jokes. I mean, that was very messy. Okay, sis.
Made the announcement
Okay,
just
that
at
messy.
breaking news, and Kaylee actually said, "What took so long?" CNN is parting ways with star anchor Don Lemon. The network made the announcement just a moment ago, actually. And it says, quote, CNN and Don have parted ways. Don will forever be a part of the CNN family, I guess, but he can't work there. And we thank him for his contributions.
They are clowning. They are clowning over there. The petty, right? It's like, come on now. You got to look, let me tell you something. If you're at work and you got someone setting you up for the okie doke, don't do it. No matter how good the joke is, how funny the joke is, girl, don't do it. Don't be the one being petty. Okay? Save that for the YouTube streets. Don't be petty at work because you never know, even though it might be a little kiki, you will be the one who cracked the joke, right? And it'll come up. It'll come up in that next meeting, or you going to wanting to be elevated to a senior manager, director, into leadership, and that's not don't do that. Sis shouldn't have done that.
Over the past 17 years. We wish him well and will be cheering him on in his future endeavors. Don Lemon also speaking out, writing a statement. Here's part of that. I was informed this morning by my agent that I have been terminated by CNN. I am stunned. So clearly they see this differently. After 17 years at CNN, I would have thought that someone in management would have had the decency to tell me directly. At no time was I ever given any indication that I would not be able to continue to work. I have loved at the network. Kaylee McEnany.
Okay.
it's quite
This is the
something.
deal. They said his agent called him. They should have just let him go into work. The agent called him and told him, I guess there was going to be a meeting, and told him basically he was going to be fired. And he had a meeting set for that day. And I guess whenever he heard, like, I guess he figured, why do I need to go put on a good suit to go get fired? Send me my package, negotiate the deal. I'm out. Girl, yeah, sis needs to stop. 17 years of bad jokes. Yeah. Okay, so let's
We just, I would just say we saw him take a break briefly for some comments he made, and then here we are.
Here we are. More outnumbered in a moment.
okay. Let's get back to, where was this article? Okay, so all right, let's go back. There's Don Lemon. Let's listen to this. I don't know if I have the Nikki Haley statements, but girl, he went in on this guy. I think he is running, and I get what he was saying, but when you have a guest, I mean, I guess he felt like it was his duty to set the record straight that his guest went off the rails and didn't want to just let that linger. But you don't have to go so hard, right? And I'm talking about anyone, guys. You know what I'm saying? I know for women in general, okay, there's a couple things. I'm going to go a couple of things. Number one, for women, we never want to be a bitch, right? Because when a woman acts a certain way, she's always a bitch. That's like nails on the chalkboard to a woman, right? We don't want to be hysterical. What are the things we don't want to be at work? A bitch, hysterical, crying, unreasonable. We don't want to not be taken seriously, right? For Black women, I'm going to say, you don't want to be perceived as ghetto. You don't want to be loud, overly loud. You don't want to be like the angry Black woman, or seen as whatever stereotype that people want to. I mean, I think everyone's desire in the workplace is to be treated equally, period. I don't care, male, female, whatever your, your socio box that you fit into, whether you're a woman, whether you're from New York, whether you're from the South, whether you're from California, whether you're a vegan, whether whatever, you know what I mean? Everybody wants to fit in, right? And I think that Don Lemon, Mr. CNN, was just doing too much, getting drunk, telling people off, over emotional, all of the things. And I do think they gave him many opportunities. And I mean, that's the worst. Okay. That's the worst stereotype to have. Okay. At work. For me, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes, shit it just happens that way. But it's a liability. It becomes a liability when someone is off the chain, right? And Don Lemon, I think, was way too comfortable, way too, instead of checking him and say, okay, we'll have to agree to disagree, or I'm not sure that or let's get this back on track. Okay, this was my question, and maybe we'll get to that conversation another time. Rather than making him wrong, rather than really, I'm gonna let you guys see, because he went in on Sir. Okay, I'm gonna let you watch, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. I'll drop the line if you guys want to talk about it. But things go left at work sometimes, right? Okay, hold on, I'm sorry. Things can go left at the office, right? And it's unfortunate when things like this happen and you're kind of in the middle of things. But I think that this was the straw that broke the camel's back. I think this guy is wow. Karine Jean-Pierre, who is a fellow Haitian. Last week, the New York Post reported that White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre requested that she not be interviewed by Lemon during CNN This Morning appearance, which was conducted by Harlow instead. When things like that start to happen, where people are not requesting you anymore, or potentially, and I'm going to be honest, silently, as quiet as it's kept, you never know what could have been going on behind the scenes, where it's like, hey, we can't stand Don Lemon, and whenever possible, I need you to just slowly roll him up under the bus. Okay. You never know. I'm not saying that that's what the White House was doing, but you never know. Oh, guys, PMD Beauty just happens to be on the screen. If you are interested in some skincare, I will share the link. There is a code Bougie Gang for 20% off. PMD Beauty. If you want to get yourself like a microdermabrasion, a skin cleansing device, and skincare, things of that nature. So I will share the link on my community post. But you already know what the code is. It's Bougie Gang. Okay, 20% off. This is not sponsored. I do have an affiliate code.
Really see what one has to do with the other, especially and using the Civil War to talk about Black Americans. That war was not fought for Black people to have guns. That's not.
That war was fought for Black people to have freedoms in this country. Yeah. Actually, that's why the Civil War was fought.
Okay.
And the sad part about
it, fought for Black people to have guns. I think.
Actually, you know, funny fact is, Black people did not get to enjoy the other freedoms until their Second Amendment rights were secured. And I think that that's one of the lessons that we learned.
Aren't allowed to enjoy the freedoms.
I disagree with you on that, Don. I disagree with you. I think you're doing a disservice to our country by failing to recognize the fact that we have equality before the law.
And you live in this country, then you can disagree with me, but we're not. You mentioned that
I disagree.
Three different shades.
Don, I think we have to be able to talk about these issues in the open, regardless of the color of our skin. Black Americans today, to say that, compare that to 1865 and 1964,
I think for you to compare it to 1865 and 1964
equal rights in this
is actually, I think it's insulting to Black people. It's insulting to me as an African American. I don't want to sit here and argue with you, because it's infuriating for you to put those things together. It's not right. Your telling of history is wrong. What
part of the history was wrong?
What part of the history was wrong? That the Civil War was fought. You're making people think that the Civil War was fought for black people, only for black people to get guns and for black people to
The Civil War was fought for black people in this country to get freedoms, a noble mission. And I think that even after we succeeded, we had to actually secure those freedoms.
To reduce it in a speech at the NRA to say you're making people think, or you're trying to say that black people
So he made this very, very, very personal. You know what I mean? Like it took on a very personal, to me, if Don Lemon felt triggered by this guy's comments and he's no longer able to control himself, he should have told his cohort sitting next to him that he would prefer her to do the interview because he is very triggered by the topic. Because homie went in, right? I mean, that was just ridiculous. Let's continue to listen. But he went in, and girl. Are we at the right one? Oh, it's playing in picture in picture? Oh, no, it's not. Okay.
really see what one has to do with the other, especially telling of history is wrong. What
part of the history was wrong? What part of the history was wrong?
That the Civil War was fought. You're making people think that the Civil War was fought for black people, only for black people to get guns and for black people to have.
The Civil War was fought for black people in this country to get freedoms, a noble mission. And I think that even after we succeeded, we had to actually secure those freedoms.
To reduce it in a speech at the NRA to say you're making people think, or you're trying to say that black people to get guns, that was the reason that you're there at the NRA. That was the reason for the Civil War.
It is a
that's
fact.
reductive.
It's not reductive.
It's insulting.
And the Second Amendment was
black
part
people,
of
hang on, please. I cannot keep a thought if you guys are talking to me in my ear. So hang on.
So it sounds like the control room was trying to get to him in his ear, and he basically shut them down. He's like, I can't keep a thought if you guys are. They were probably telling him, abort mission, stop, shift, cut it, whatever. And he did not want to listen to the control room.
1 second. So to say that black people, say what you said again.
Black people secured their freedoms after the Civil War. It is a historical fact, Don. Just study it. Only after their Second Amendment rights were secured.
That's a fact. Secured their freedoms after the Civil War. That is not. You are discounting Reconstruction. You're discounting a whole host of things that happened after the Civil War when it comes to African Americans, including the whole reason that the Civil Rights Movement happened is because black people did not secure their freedoms after the Civil War, and that things turned around. People tried to change the freedoms that were supposed to.
And you know how they got it? They got their Second Amendment rights. Well, here's where you and I have a different point of view. I think we should be able to express our views regardless of the color of our skin. We should have this debate without me regarding you as a black man, but me regarding you as a fellow citizen.
That you're
That's what I
sitting
think
here,
we should see.
whatever ethnicity you are, explaining to me
Whatever ethnicity
about
I'm,
what it's like to be black.
Whatever
America.
ethnicity I am, I'll tell you what I am. I'm an Indian American. I'm proud of it. But I think we should have this debate. Black, white, doesn't matter.
I think we should have this
on
debate.
the content of the
ideas. If you're
ideas.
gonna do it, you should do it in an honest way and in a fair way. And what you're doing is not an honest and fair way. Okay? We appreciate you coming on.
With
Thank
due
you for
respect,
that.
Don, I look forward to
Thank you very
continuing
much.
that
I appreciate
conversation.
it. We'll
Thank
continue
you.
the conversation.
Thank you.
Look at Sister Girl. Look
we'll
at
talk
Sis.
about China.
Yes, let's talk about
Next
China.
time you come back.
Oh, thank you. Much to say on declaring independence from China.
Okay,
Something you
can
can
we
add
move
on.
on now, please?
Thank you.
Sis was pissed because he took over the whole interview. He diminished Mr. Vivek. He said, whatever ethnicity you are. I mean, come on now, sir. You already know the man's Indian, like South Asian descent, Indian. And it's very rude if you want to be treated, you know what I mean? Like, we're not the only brown people in the country. Like, come on, Don shouldn't have done that. That was like embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? His behavior was embarrassing. I'm gonna just say it, and it is what it is. Let me tell you something, and I'm gonna tell you my experience, and you guys, it is what it is. I have encountered many a Karen in corporate America. I don't know if Sis was a Karen or not, his partner. But when she looked pissed, she was not happy. And once you have messed up, if this woman feels like she was iced out because she was a woman, even though that was not brought up, but she may have brought that up to management. Like Don Lemon lost his job for so many reasons just from that interaction. He brought his own personal feelings to the news desk. Your job was to interview, not debate, right? You iced out your coworker. Your coworker very well may have felt away. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. Okay. Um, Maybe he's had male female problems before. Maybe this racial argument now created some tension because you have now expressed your true feelings about certain things as it relates to race, and you have come out from, you have given people a view that maybe is only reserved for your family, friends, intimate colleagues. That's just, it's just too much. It's just too much. It was I mean, I agree with what he was saying fundamentally, but as it pertains to the workplace, absolutely not. And that's very uncomfortable for the other people who are just trying to do their job and get their check. You see what I'm saying? And you're going to make it easy for people who want a promotion, people who don't like you anyway, and people who were just waiting for you to just fuck it up one more time. Okay? You made it easy because sis, who was sitting next to him, did not look pleased. She dropped her little cute comment, said, "Well, next time you come back, maybe we'll get to talk about China." Okay? Um it was inappropriate. It was very, very, very inappropriate. Don, you cannot make your job your own personal soapbox. I'm sure he is lamenting over that today. And if Don wants to say his piece uninterrupted, I'm sure he could go live probably tonight. Okay? Don could go and start Lemon TV this evening. All right? Go live and tell us everything he wants to tell us. Girl, he should have been packing up his desk. Um, I'm so happy. Let me tell you something, guys. Um, I After the pandemic, getting laid off and then going back to work on a contract consulting basis and working projects, it's so freeing, and working from home and not feeling and being part of the structure, not having to be on the sign up sheet for cake, not having to like, it's okay to decline, like, oh, everyone's getting, together for dinner and da 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 da, so and so's coming to town. You know what I mean? And having breaks in between. I feel like I spent Farah's whole life driving back and forth to drop her off at school, after school, daycare, all the things, I mean, oh my God. I'm so relieved to be not in a traditional corporate America setting, and also feeling a little bit more in control of what I'm doing and not doing. Going into the office and being around all of those people and the politicking that has to take place in the workplace, I never want to go back to the way I was working prior to the pandemic. Never, 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 never again. Um, if I were Don, I would just take a break. Yeah. Take a break, have some drinks, figure out what I want to talk about. Or if he wants to get online, start a YouTube channel. I mean, look at Candace Owens. I mean, I think Candace Owens does something else too, but there's plenty of people who are anchors, commentators, all kinds of people who are interested in maybe what he has to say and start something at his own. If he wants to get into it and he wants to talk race in America, do it. I mean, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. If he wants to start conversation and have that conversation, if he wants to have a real kind of like Vivek, you're wrong, and meet me on my YouTube channel, and we will get it in. And you get your 1,000,000, 2,000,000, however many millions of people following you on Twitter or wherever else. He can do that. So yeah, maybe he should go on an extended vacation, or he may need to get with the people that can help him shine and create his own platform and just do it like that. I mean, if he feels compelled at this point in his life to give his real opinion and not be on corporate messaging, because let's be real here. CNN, no matter how liberal CNN has been, I'm sure there is still within a certain guideline where you're supposed to go and where you're not supposed to go in a conversation. And certainly arguing with a guest is never one of them, just for common decency and manners purposes, right? But also stressing your own personal opinions and beliefs probably was not one also. Okay, the guy, yes, he's running for president. He's a GOP. But what's interesting is Nikki Haley too. So it's interesting. It's 2023, guys. Okay. Good for them. I mean, I will see anybody, you know what I mean? I'm a conscious observer. I'm a witness out here. So we're just looking and watching and seeing who steps and throws their hat into the ring, and let the best person win, who wants to do the most good, right? Or has the most money. I'm just kidding. Yeah, maybe he should take some time to enjoy his money, but I almost feel like, people who are highly driven, um, it may not even be the money, it's just the attraction of that microphone. Girl, he could possibly have already gone live by now. You know what I mean? I may need to go on Twitter and go ahead and set my alerts, because people that have to talk, we know this from the YouTube streets. There's some people out here that just have to talk, right? They have to. They can't sit still for a weekend. They can't not hit that go live. They got to say something, right? So Don Lemon might be back. Tucker Carlson be back, okay? I would be surprised if either of these two don't come through, right? Anytime soon. So anyway, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. This was a great conversation. Did I drop the link? Nobody called in. If anybody wants to call, did I drop that? Hold on. Maybe I think I was trying to, and maybe I did not. I'll do it again just to see if anybody has any words. But yeah, you know what I mean? I don't want to seem heartless, but I don't feel sorry for anybody. I don't. I don't feel sorry for either of these guys. They have been well compensated. They still have, even despite Tucker Carlson and the lies, there are people out here, you cannot tell him, you cannot tell them that he did any wrong. So in theory, he's not worse for the wear, right? He's not hurt by this, right? At all. I think that there are people out here that feel like no matter how you have to win this race, if you win it, you win it. You know what I'm saying? By hook or by crook, by any means necessary. Do you hear what I'm saying? I think the people that really love this guy and what he does, they don't care. They don't care. Candace Owens today was reporting that she didn't understand why Fox didn't fight. Well, Fox didn't fight because Fox admitted to lying, that they that this information was false, and I guess that they knew it, right? That's why they didn't fight. And there are people that still believe in this guy. Don Lemon, absolutely, people still believe in him too. Did he have a accurate message? Was his message on message for a lot of people? Absolutely. Was Vivek kind of trying to use a situation to further his agenda and seem more progressive than he is? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know enough about that guy, and I don't know enough about his speech. But like I said, Don Lemon has every opportunity right now to go live if he wants to. You know what I mean? Just like everybody else. So Tucker was making $20 million a year. Wow. Do it on his own platform. Because you know what? At the end of the day, you're costing people their jobs. You know, there's a whole production crew around these two guys that may or may not be working because of their mouths. I'm sure they can dissolve those people into other teams, or maybe people get laid off. Who knows? We don't know what the ripple effect is, and what the ripple effect is of a payment of $787 million. You know what I mean? So what does that mean to the company? What does that mean with more lawsuits coming? So a lot of this this running of thy mouth and creating your own agendas and your networks of people that are influencing your work and the company. I mean, Fox is to blame. That's why they got sued, because I believe that the people who sued feel that he was fully supported by the organization, and that's why they were held to account. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and I think we're going to see a lot more of this in the future, and I think it's very interesting. And a lot of the very unprofessional news reporting, opinion kind of news reporting, if they want to give their opinion, if there are newscasters and anchors and people who want to give their opinion, go and start your own platform where you can just represent yourself and you don't have a big company behind you having to take the heat for what you're doing and what you're saying. So I think both of these guys were proven to be gross liabilities, and they no longer wanted to deal with that. So, you know, it's unfortunate, but yeah, both guys lost their jobs. And that was that. So anyway, guys, interesting topic. And I'm glad we got a chance to talk about it. And we've got some more stuff to talk about tomorrow. And over on Love Lies and Lace Fronts. If there's any stories that you guys want to talk about, we definitely can. So make sure to bubble them up in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow on Love Lies and Lace Fronts, where we do reactions, reviews, and commentary on the YouTube channels you love to watch. So if you are new here and not familiar with that channel, go ahead and check my About page, and there should be a link over there. Okay. Anyway, guys, have a great evening. I got to cook dinner and get on my mom duties. So I hope that you guys have a great evening, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Okay. Bye.